This video is a follow-up to that video that I did yesterday or a couple days ago about the proper way to carry a hen and also noticing rooster damage on a hen, because a lot of you are saying that you have this damage on your hens and you don't have any roosters, and so I want to talk about the other possibilities. So I gotta say, my number one thought when I hear that your hens are missing feathers in this area or their vent area and you don't have roosters is to check for external parasites. We're just coming out of the time of year where things like northern fowl mites, tropical fowl mites are the worst, and coming into the time of year where lice is the worst. So it's a really good time to figure out how to check your birds for external parasites. And here's the thing, if your birds have a really good place to dust bathe, access to sunlight, it's possible that they could be preening themselves and keeping these parasites in check. Sometimes even with the best prevention tactics, these things just get out of control, and it's our responsibility to know what to look for so that we can treat our birds when necessary. Because in the event that mites and lice do get out of control, they can cause secondary illnesses, they can cause anemia, vitamin deficiencies, and they're just genuinely really uncomfortable for our birds. And these things are not necessarily a testament to our animal husbandry practices. Oftentimes they just get brought in by wild birds, mice, and they just kind of take hold before we realize. Some of the telltale signs of mites are feathers missing in the vent area, scabs around the vent, and usually that's where chickens are trying to preen themselves to get the mites off because they are very uncomfortable. Other telltale signs of mites are feathers missing in this area right here. Signs of lice lay eggs. So in the event that you can't see lice, you typically can see lice eggs, and they're usually on the feather shafts. I always see lice around the neck, and it almost looks like little Q-tips at the shaft of at the base of the feathers, right around the skin where the lice are laying eggs. And if you can't see the lice, you can see those. So when I'm looking for mites, typically what I'll do is I'll go into my coops at night while my hens are roosting, and I'll bring a flashlight. When I'm looking, I look in 3 different places. I look under the wings, around the vent, and around the neck. So I'm gonna try to look on this girl on camera during the day. She's pretty heavy. She's a big girl too, but she's cooperating really well. For now. Sorry, lady. Okay. So when I get under the wings, I'm peeling back feathers and I'm looking between the feathers, and they're really fast. So you just want to, you're just trying to catch them scurrying, or you're looking for the eggs. Lice are basically translucent, so they're really very difficult to see. Mites as well. Mites are usually like a light brown color, sometimes red after they've been sucking blood for a while. This is one of those dirty jobs in chicken keeping. Love to be right around the vent. So I often see them in these feathers just above or just below the vent. Right up in this area in particular. And again, oftentimes you'll see many of them. This girl actually looks pretty good. And also around the neck. Right up in this area is where is another place to check for mites and lice. I'm really impressed, lady. You look good. We'll put you back now. And look, these parasites are not the end of the world. There are some very simple treatments that a quick Google search will show you. My personal favorite treatment this year is using ivermectin poron, which is actually for cattle. Use in chickens is an off-label use, so use at your own risk. Diatomaceous earth is not an effective method at treating either mites or lice. I don't even believe it's an effective preventative. Diatomaceous earth is very damaging for chickens' respiratory tract, and in my opinion, it's way more trouble than it's worth. I don't use it at all for anything in my chicken coops. In the event that you've checked your chickens over for parasites, you don't see any indication of external parasites, and they're still missing feathers, it's possible that you have a feather picker in your flock, which oftentimes can be indicative of a vitamin deficiency. Maybe protein or calcium, and this may be something that you want to look into supplementing your flock with periodically. I'm not suggesting that you go rogue and start making your own feed. I'm suggesting that in addition to your regular balanced layer feed that you're offering your hens, that maybe give a supplement, something like black oil sunflower seeds, soldier fly larvae, maybe once a week. You always want the majority of your laying hen's feed to be a balanced layer feed, and for that treat to be just that, a supplement. If you give hens the opportunity to choose between both, they're gonna choose that treat every time. So you have to offer the treat like once in a while and not leave it out for them to take free choice. And unfortunately, some feather picking never stops, and I don't quite know why. Even when you get the vitamins up, you get the protein up, feather pickers, like once they pick up that habit, they're like egg eaters. It's really, really hard to break, and they may just need to be separated from the flock. And of course, in order to find out who's doing what, you'll just have to pay attention, or maybe put like a trail cam in the coop to see what's really going on in there, so you can decide how to keep everybody safe and comfortable.